A budgeting strategy that we've actually recommended for years is gaining mainstream traction. It's called reverse budgeting. Is it the right approach for you? And if so, how do you get started? I've got that and more coming up. Most people budget the wrong way. And by most people, the vast majority of people budget the wrong way. In budgeting systems, budgeting apps, the vast majority do it wrong. And here's what I mean by that. Most budgeting systems and most people budget this way. How much am I typically spending in these various categories, groceries and maybe even how much do I want to spend in those categories? Groceries, going out to eat, what's my mortgage, those sorts of things. How much am I earning? Okay. Let me massage those expense categories so that it all fits within there. And then let me track it. And most people say, yep, that's budgeting. And there's a ton of apps where that's essentially the process. This is a zero-sum budget. And it doesn't help you achieve your financial goals. Doing that in and of itself, you need to add something to it in order to achieve financial goals. That zero-sum budget is not you living intentionally for your finances. It doesn't make the main thing the main thing. I was talking to my 7th grade son the other day and we were talking about working out and he's getting into, exercising and all that sort of stuff. And I said, hey, you know why I wake up at 5:30 every morning and run then? And he said, why? And I said, because if I wait and I just have to mix it in later in the day, it's likely not going to happen. The demands of my time and the rest of the priorities are likely to squeeze it out. I need to make sure that I exercise. Otherwise, I'm not going to be healthy. And therefore, I have to get up and do it right away. I've got to do it first thing. And then the rest of life, the really important things in life can fit in around that. That's the approach that you need to take with your finances. That's why saving into your 401k is so effective. You save into your 401k right out of your paycheck, and then your money lands in your checking account and you spend the rest. This is the approach you need to take with budgeting. We call it goals-based budgeting, but recently saw on mainstream, this was called reverse budgeting. And that's fine, different term for the same thing. We were doing backdoor Roth IRAs for our clients before they were called backdoor Roths. We were doing mega backdoor Roth before they got that name as well. And I actually like the name reverse budgeting because it does, like right there in the name infused in it, it says that this is the reverse. This is the opposite of how everyone else budgets, or the opposite of how systems are set up. But this is the effective way. This is the way to budget so that you have financial success. So here's how you do it. There's 4 steps. The first is to identify what your financial goals are and then calculate what it takes to achieve them. Now, this is a big step, okay? You're likely going to want to do this with your certified financial planner. Of course, it's your financial goals, but you might need a little help framing them and packaging them and so on. But certainly you're going to need some help calculating them. Say you want to be able to buy a house. Okay, well, if you want to buy this size house, here's how much you'll need to save. If you want to have that money ready in 5 years or in 7 years or in 3 years, it's going to depend, it's going to influence things. I want to be able to retire. All right, well, do you want to retire in 25 years or 20 years or whatever? That's going to influence. You're going to need some help with your certified financial planner in calculating what those goals are. We've got our team, certified financial planners here at KFG. We've got a full goal setting and achievement process that we lead clients through. And then, of course, all of the calculations and analysis and strategy to determine, well, what's it take to reach those goals. So that's step 1. Identify your goals, set those goals, and calculate what it takes to be on track. Step 2 then is build out the rest of your regular expenses. Okay, so just like in that normal way people budget, that's step 2. How much is the mortgage? How much do you plan to spend going out to eat? What's the grocery bill? What's the gas bill? Those sorts of things. You got to build all those around it, okay, once you have those goals in place. That's the second step. Third step, once you've been able to make all of that fit, the third step is you then automate those savings. You automate those savings. Why is that step 3 and not step 2? Because in step 2, it's very possible that you had calculated, yep, we've got a goal, an aggressive goal, saving up for the next vehicle, or saving up to buy a house, or saving up helping the kids with college, and we want to send them to Notre Dame in our backyard, something like that. And you've calculated those goals, and then in step 2, you build in the rest of reality around it, and you say, oh gosh, this doesn't fit. We actually need to augment. We need to change our goals slightly. We need to adjust what we're doing to make this all fit. You need to do that work, step 1 and then step 2, so that then in step 3, once it all fits, you then automate your savings. You don't want to decide every time you get a paycheck, can I save? Wait, I in my budget, I was supposed to save $500 in order to be on track for these goals. Can I do that? Or is there just a cash flow timing issue where I probably shouldn't this time? No, you want to automate your savings. That's the way to ensure that instead of having a zero-sum budget, you have a goals-based budget where you're on track for your goals. Will you need to adjust the amount sometimes? Absolutely. Is life going to happen? Absolutely. But you want to automate those savings so that you make that choice once and then adjust it as needed. And then the 4th step is you track it. You track how am I doing? Am I spending within those parameters? How is this going? And you'll make adjustments as you need to, as life throws curveballs as well as opportunities at you. You'll make adjustments then. But doing that budgeting process allows you to live intentionally, take intentional steps towards making progress in your financial life and reaching your financial goals, instead of a zero-sum budget where you do that for a few decades and you show up and you realize, I've tracked my expenses, but whether I was on track to achieve what I wanted to and live intentionally the life that I felt I was called to financially, I don't know. It really didn't help me. So having that goals-based budget, reverse budget, that's the better approach. Now, you then need to infuse that within a 3 bank account system. I talk about that all the time. That's the other way people get budgeting all wrong, is they only budget based on the here and now, the immediate expenses, and they sort of ignore, or they don't have a plan for, they don't account for in their budgeting, the non-monthly expenses, the expenses that come up only once a year or every couple of years or every quarter. They do a good job, and budgeting systems help you do this. Oh, I've got the monthly expenses down pat. Yeah, I'm going to be scrambling though when Christmas comes along, or when birthdays comes along, or when the anniversary comes along, or when we need new tires. You then need to build out that 3 bank account system so that you've got a plan that fits for your immediate spending, but you've also accounted for those non-monthly expenses, and then you've accounted for all the things that you can't anticipate, the emergencies, the stuff that life throws at you that you couldn't have anticipated, never could have budgeted for because you just didn't know, it wasn't even on your radar screen. You need to have an emergency fund for that. That's the 3 bank account system. It needs to be part of a goals-based budget that will help you live intentionally. It's the right foundation to build your financial life on. Work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with KWise20show.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.